For the Rockies, top of the eighth, and that one in Colorado. The Rockies, by the way, are 8-41 on the season currently. Meanwhile, the A's up 3-2 on the Angels in Sacramento. That one in the bottom of the fifth. And finals from today, the Yankees doing everybody in the AL West a favor. They beat the Rangers 1-0. Took 11 innings. The Blue Jays take out the Padres 7-6. And the Red Sox and Orioles postponed because of rain. Makeup date will be coming soon.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. Beautiful day outside. Perfect day to go out there and beat the daylights out of the Houston Astros, even though that's in Houston. But big start to a big series nonetheless, Dave. If the Mariners hypothetically sweep, which I don't think that's probably realistic, but possible, they'd have a 7.5 game lead on the Astros in the division. How about that? How great would that be?
Does it give you some pause to think back to last year when we had a 10-game lead?
Dave, we're not focused on the past. We're only looking at the future. Let's live in the now, Dave. Let's not live in the past. They got a 3.5 game lead on them currently. The Astros are in second place currently, and you got a 4-game series with them that starts this afternoon, and I cannot wait for this game. I'm very anxious to see, and by the way, coming up on the show, the Cal Raleigh Show will happen at 3 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. Are they going to be able to watch it, Lefko? Did we get confirmation? Or
they can always watch it on YouTube. We're experimenting with maybe being able to watch it live. Okay. So stay tuned.
All right.
And if it's not on the stream, it didn't work. But if it is, then go for it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's coming up at 3 o'clock. You'll hear it nonetheless, but you may be able to see it at the same time. We'll see. But George Kirby being activated, making his season debut against the Astros. I don't know what to expect. I know that they wouldn't activate him if they didn't believe in his health and where he's at, and they feel like he's ready. So I'm going to go with them. But, you never know. I'm sure there's going to be some butterflies, and it's his first start in the regular season. I mean, he has not pitched a game of consequence in forever.
Yeah, this is a big game, too, for the Mariners. So, in series, just in general. But, yeah, this is it'll be very interesting to see what he does. And, is it not fair to expect him to come out of the gates being George Kirby of last year?
I don't expect that.
That's not fair.
I'll be pleasantly surprised if that's what we see. Because I think there's going to be a pitch. What did Wilson say yesterday, Lefko? Was it 75, 80 pitches?
Yeah, Shannon told us in the postgame around 75 to 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they got a pitch limit. We'll see how efficient he can be. We know he's a guy that doesn't walk people, even though in his rehab start, he had that one game he walked a couple of guys.
Yeah.
He had 3 rehab starts with Tacoma. He allowed 8 runs, 15 hits in 10 innings. 13 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Mm-hmm.
So, not sharp, but we'll see. I don't know what to expect. I really don't. It'd be great if he came out and looked like the George Kirby we all know and love.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to put too much pressure on him or anything, but it also just reminds you of how much they're missing their pitching. This team was all about that. I was just looking at George Kirby's numbers from last year. He was number 1 in fewest walks issued with 24 in all of Major League Baseball, and that's pitching 191 innings.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at the hits, number 8 in hits, 181, tied for 27th in strikeouts, 179. But then you look at the ratio of walks and hits to innings pitched, WHIP, he was number 10 at 1.07, and then Logan and Bryce Miller were number 1 and number 4 in that category. So, and those are the 3 guys. Those are the 3 guys that you're missing out of that rotation right now. His ERA was 25th, and we talked about it yesterday that Bryce Miller was number 8, Logan was number 14, and then for Kirby, he was number 25. 3.53 ERA. So, I mean, we've been missing this guy so much. And if you look at these numbers, I don't expect him to be that kind of pitcher right away. But, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he comes out of the box. And I don't know if he's one of those guys. Everybody's different as an athlete. Some guys are they're a slow start. And then you have, like Julio every year pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, you have these guys that can just come right off the IL and be who they are. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see. And then, of course, all the hatred towards the Astros is always fun to kind of incorporate into this series.
Yeah.
I knew Bob would do that.
Oh, man. This is going to be an interesting series here.
By the way, we got the Randy Arozarena bobblehead here, if you can see that. It's pretty awesome, man. He's got like a loose chain that around his neck there, and I think it's one of the better bobbleheads.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. The chain's mobile. And who did we see wearing it the other day? Was it Manny Acta wearing it in the dugout?
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they
Is he
showed
the
him.
one?
I think it was Acta. He had. It looked funny because it looked even bigger on him. Looked like a bike chain you'd lock up your bike with. But yeah, he was sporting that chain, and it's a cool looking bobblehead. What night are they giving that one out? Do we have the date on that?
Yes. Hold on. Good question, Bob.
Thanks.
I love him at the plate, like the look on his face.
Oh, 3-day giveaway. Okay. Here we go. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every night of the National Series. The first 10,000 fans each time will get
Next
the Randy
week.
Arozarena bobblehead.
There you go. Yeah, so there you go. You can see it on the video stream. Good-looking bobblehead. So first 10,000, you got 3 opportunities if you're a collector of these. And this is a good-looking one. And I like that they got the bright yellow cleat, the highlighter cleats on.
Yellow cleats. Is it same with gloves? I'm trying to
You can't
see.
see. Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, he's got the yellow gloves too. And then, for those of you on the stream, you'd see less of me and more of Randy. That's why we put it in front of me.
That's right. Everybody wins there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming up next week. Meanwhile, coming up tonight, George Kirby. You guys can text in 866-979-3776. What's a realistic expectation? Are you thinking like 5 innings, 2 runs type of thing? I'll still be surprised if he walks hitters. I mean, he did have that one game in one of the rehab starts. He walked 2 guys, but in 3 starts, he walked 2, had 13 strikeouts. That's what that even seems high for him, the walk
3
total
rehab
there.
starts, and he walked 2, and we're disappointed by that.
Yeah, I'm more disappointed about the runs and the hits, but we'll see what he does. But I'm thinking if he can give them 5 and 2 or less, awesome. I'll take it. And maybe, who knows, maybe he gets out there, he's really efficient, he can get you 6. I don't know. Some of it will depend on, are there some high-stress innings? He's got traffic out there. He's throwing a lot of pitches. I mean, we'll see how Dan plays it. But I'm just setting my expectations for success. Give me 5 and 2.
Yeah, I wonder also if it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for the Astros having not seen him this year. I mean, I guess they could be looking at, whatever videotape from last year, whatever you call it, tape, film, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's going to be a little bit different for him. I wonder if his approach has changed, anything. I mean, it's just going to be really, really interesting to see this one. And, because that's the thing. I mean, I've been talking a lot about, and I know you have too, Bob, about Kirby and Logan Gilbert and Bryce Miller. Those guys were money. They were top 25 in ERA last year, and now we've been without them. So now all of a sudden, I mean, maybe this is going to be the things, sign of things to come.
Well, and you expect to be full strength there soon with Logan coming back, Bryce Miller coming back, and just looking at where they rank now, pitching wise. And this is take into account the last couple of starts for Wu have been fantastic. The last couple of starts for Castillo have been fantastic. So those have gone a long way into bringing these numbers up. But when you look at the numbers, they're 16th as a rotation in ERA, 3.82. They're 17th in opponent batting average. They're 16th in walks. They're 16th in strikeouts per 9 innings. And that's, again, on the heels of 4 really good starts for 2 of your guys there, and 1 from Logan Evans previous to his most recent. So you've had some really good outings that have helped improve these numbers to be middling.
Right. Well, and then you look at the offensive numbers, and that's the thing that really stands out is that, if you would have looked at these numbers, those rankings that you just mentioned for pitching, and then the rankings for the offense, the offensive numbers, you would say, well, these are the pitching numbers. But the offense actually, top 10 in a couple of different categories. And so, it's just entirely flipped. But I don't think that's going to stay the same.
No, I expect it's going to start to. They're both going to shift in different. The pitching will go up, offense will come back a little bit, and we've seen it with some of the guys that were, like Polanco was off to just a ridiculous start.
Yeah,
still very, very good, but you see the numbers coming down. Same for some other guys that really got off to great starts. It's coming back down a bit, which you all expected. But meanwhile, Harold Reynolds, I'll say it in English, was on with Brock and Salk, and he talked about the Mariners and how they built their team, and he feels like they built it to win a series. And in his opinion, the great Harold Reynolds says you do that with starting pitching.
It's the one thing that Jerry gets overlooked. He's got this great pitching staff. He's put together the club. But I think Jerry, more than anybody, understands you win series. Baseball's built in series, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, that type of stuff. And if you look at the Texas Rangers a couple of years ago, before they were on the map, I started saying, look out, man. They can beat you 2 out of 3. They got DeGrom. They got Evaldi. They got these guys that can beat you in a 2 out of 3 series. And that's how the game is built. And if the Mariners are going about this like we're talking about it, then that's the philosophy, and that's how you win games. So, and you win series, and before you know it, you're in the playoffs. I definitely think that's part of their attack and their understanding.
Shout out to Jerry there.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
You don't get many of those.
Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, it's interesting how, right now, the way you look at it, he trusted the guys that he had and didn't make a lot of moves in the offseason and seems to be working out. And so, it's really fun to watch the way that they're winning. Particularly, I think the most exciting thing, and I think it's going to be this way with the Seahawks, is that the coaching is going to make a huge difference. And that seems to have already had an effect. And they already had great development and coaching and everything with their pitching staff, but now all of a sudden the offense is starting to come on.
Hey, a reminder, if you miss any part of our show or you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search Seattle Sports on all social media platforms like Instagram and X and Blue Sky, Threads, all of it. We're on all of those. So search for Wyman and Bob, search for Seattle Sports or Bob Stelton on all of those conversations, interviews, everything's up there. Anything you miss is right there for you. Meanwhile, this 4-game series is I don't know. Is it crucial right now? I feel like it is. We're still talking about an early part of the season. We're still in the first. I'm not going to call the season early anymore. Where you go, it's early. Don't worry about it. But there's still a lot of baseball in front of you. So is it make or break? If you lose this series, is the season over? No. But this series goes a long way into really, sort of developing how this team is perceived by a very, in some parts, cynical fan base, and B, maybe just even the confidence of the team. I think they're very confident. I think they got a lot of belief in what they can do, even if they're down, because they've had a number of come-from-behind wins so far this season. But I don't know. There's just something to beating this team, facing this team who's been the boogeyman. They've been the team that's just dominated this division for years and years. So I think it goes a long way into just sort of reinforcing the confidence that they have. Certainly want to extend that lead as much as possible.
All right.
But I think if they're able to take 3 of 4, and they're doing it while being injured the way that they are, and yes, you're going to get Kirby back, and we'll see what he looks like, but still missing a lot of pieces with his team. You're able to take 3 of 4. That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal.
That would be huge. And I think
Right on the pitch. Cal swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
with Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
White Sox,
Yeah.
they only took 2 out of 3.
Or it was the way
right,
in
Cal.
which they took 2 of 3. Yeah.
Right. So, that will further legitimize that. Geez, if they're able to win this, which I'm not expecting that, I would like to see a split. I think a split would be great. But if you're able to take this series with 3 or, even 4, am I going to jinx them? By the way,
the argument,
wish you had that
against
kind of
the
power.
trans community or banning trans
bumping
is
Stacey,
such a small
man. We
percentage
spent
of
like
people that
45 minutes
you're
talking
legislating
about
to be
this
point
morning.
or whatever
You were
of the
there, you saw it.
population.
But every
Every
kid wants
kid's got a
to
vote,
own.
right? This is
We know
every
that.
kid in
I don't believe
America.
in it either.
Gizmodo had this
It's
interesting
utter
article. I was reading this. I want to read you just the last
If
paragraph.
anybody had
So I
that
think
kind
they really
of
sum
power,
it up.
come
And
on,
this is
man.
great.
If I had that,
This is from
Astros would be
Gizmodo. Last article for
162
them, or,
every
on
year.
and AI. It's, let's see. It's,
Easily.
And you'd be rich.
explaining
That's
the
right,
doom
I'd be
loop
in
of AI in
Vegas.
education, basically.
49ers would be
Okay.
0-17.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a
And
drive.
Seahawks and
Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best.
So if I, said sweep the Astros, so
Wyman pitch to Cal.
fixes them, and they're going to go 0 for 4 in this series.
Well, I'll blame
That's
you.
my bad.
Sorry.
Okay.
If Dave wouldn't have said that, it would have been a completely different outcome.
And I fired up the computer this morning, and I was like, what are all these texts coming from? The text toy was still up for whatever reason. And, there was like, man, they hit the mother load on texters here with this jinx thing.
Well, people are superstitious, man.
People were texting in about, like, there was a guy that worked at Safeway, and he's like, if one of the employees ever says, oh, it's a nice slow day today, that people just instantly start pouring in, and then people give them crap about being the jinx and whatnot. All these different scenarios where you can jinx things, and it was quite fascinating.
Yeah, I don't. Come on. I remember when I think Sims said something. There was a no-hitter in progress, and he made the cardinal sin of saying the words no-hitter, and some people started firing on him, and I just remember him responding on Twitter, going, "Stop embarrassing yourself."
I liked it when Dave would say, "Come on, people."
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. I know sports and superstition go hand in hand, especially in baseball.
Yeah, baseball,
especially in
definitely
baseball.
more. Well, I had an experience. I've told this story before, but in 2019, Russ didn't have any picks through like the first 5 games, I think it was. And so they go into a game at home against the Ravens, and he throws a pick. Or he might have thrown 2, but anyway, and I think one was a pick 6. So, lady at a function like the next week,
Cal swinging a drive.
what are you talking about? Like, you jinxed Russ. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she went through the explanation. I'm like, I don't remember what I said.
Cal swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
with Mariners insider Shannon Drayer.
Any of us had that kind of power, there would be some
All right, Cal, we're in
historical,
Chicago.
Records out
And
there
there's
for
always weather in
futility
Chicago.
with the Astros.
Take a
with
look
any
out there. What do you
rival
think?
Of a Seattle team.
Wet,
you would
cold.
see them just down in the dirt. It would be just delightful. But you don't need to egg the fan base on. They hate this team. Sports hate is alive and well when it comes to the Astros. And in case you missed out on some of the reasons to hate this team beyond their cheating, it's kind of just their overall arrogance. Lance McCullers Jr., who's on the Hill tonight for the Astros. Back in July of 2022, he was.
Oh, we're going way back.
Well, look, man, you go to where the material is, and that's where it was. He was talking about Mariners fans before the series in Seattle, and he said, we don't give a bleep about them, talking about the fan base. And then apparently somebody on Twitter hit him up and said they couldn't hear him from the IL because he's always on the IL, can't hear you. And he said, I got so tired of smoking y'all for the past 8 years, I needed a break. Ooh. Lance McCullers Jr., everybody. So here's hoping he just gets his doors blown off tonight. And he had actually stuck up for him a few weeks ago when he had that dreadful outing and he was getting death threats, which I still think is just beyond cowardly, even if it's Lance McCullers. He went a third of an inning, gave up 7 runs, and apparently he started getting death threats, which is just pathetic.
I wonder if it's like 90%
pathetical,
of those.
Dave.
Pathetical and ferocious.
Yeah.
I wonder if people that, like 90% of those people that issue death threats or go that far over have lost a bunch of money because of them. They're gamblers.
Maybe. I don't know what. I couldn't imagine saying that to somebody over a game.
Yeah.
I could just imagine being mad, like, dude, you were terrible. That was awful. What are you doing? I mean, that's being a fan, but you start getting into, you should die. I'm going to kill you. Whatever they were saying to him is like, what? You need to look in the mirror. You got something going on that isn't right. Need some fixing. But having said all of that, kind of hope he puts himself in a position to be lambasted by the fans short of death threats. That they're just telling him how much he stinks after tonight's game. That's what I'm hoping for. So Lance McCullers taken a few shots at Seattle in the past, so it would be really, really delightful to see him take a beating. All right, let's take 2.
That's a great bar to set. I think we can all strive for that. Bad enough, but just short of death threats. So
yeah, we don't need it to go there. There's never a cause for that.
Well, talking about bad enough, a lot of teams in the AL West have not played good baseball lately. The Rangers were swept by the Yankees, falling 1-0 today. And the A's, remember how the A's were kind of closing in on the Mariners? They've lost 8 straight games. Now, they're playing right now against the Angels. They are up 5-2 in the 6th, but they're on an 8-game losing streak. And the Padres have really fallen off since the Mariners series. They were swept by the Blue Jays, didn't score a run in the first 2 games, lost 7-6 today in 11 innings.
You're welcome, Toronto.
Yeah, no
We
kidding.
softened them up for you.
You jinxed the Padres.
We allowed them 1 run a game. We said, here's what we're going to give you. We'll give you 1 a game and do your best to hold us down. That's what happened in that series, and they have not recovered. They've been mentally beaten by the Mariners, and the Blue Jays came in and just swept up the dust that was left.
Did they also sweep us? Sorry to be negative.
Yeah,
Toronto.
What is with you? 10-game lead blown last year. Toronto. Dave, we're living in the now. We're looking ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering, maybe Toronto's really, really good. But anyway, yeah, I'll shut up now.
The college football playoff passed a rule today to reformat their 12-team bracket by now simply seeding the top 12 teams. So regardless if you won a conference championship, whoever is ranked the best, they'll be number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Last year, the top 4 teams went to the conference champs, who were the top 4. So you had that weird situation where Ohio State was ranked like 2nd or 3rd in the final rankings, didn't win the Big Ten. They were the 8th seed. They then had to play Oregon, the number 1 seed in the college football playoff, in the 2nd round. They got rid of that today and said the top 4 teams, regardless of if they won a conference title or not, they're the top 4. They get a first-round bye.
Sounds right, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like the way it should be?
What's interesting is that the Lions had kind of proposed this at the NFL. They then took the motion off the table because it wasn't going to get enough momentum. So the NFL doesn't want to do that. They want to keep the divisions sacred, but the college football playoff says, nah.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me that what strikes me is that seems perfectly fine to me with college football, but as far as doing it in the NFL, no, I mean, I guess because of the history here, I mean, you would never have made the playoffs with a 7-9 record.
Wouldn't have had Beastquake.
Wouldn't have had the Beastquake run. I mean, there's lots of reasons to, I don't know, I just think
there is something weird about it. It's rewarding a 7-9 team, though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like you're the best of the bad. your whole division was so stinky that you won with a 7-9 record. I mean, I love that part of the Seahawks history. Don't get me wrong.
Such a fantastic part of their history.
But
yeah,
it feels a little weird.
Then we went the next week, I think, to Chicago, and I think we got smoked there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why. It's hypocritical of me, but I don't really like it for the NFL, but it seems perfectly fine with college football.
All right, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife, swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. What will it take for Cal Raleigh to stay in the MVP discussion over the course of this season? We're going to get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Kirby looks in, has a sign from Raleigh.
He's back.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for George Kirby.
Just in time as the first-place Mariners start a 3-game set in Houston against an Astros team right on their heels.
Swing and a miss. He is dealing time.
Hear George Kirby's season debut tonight. First pitch at 5:10 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. You know, we had Andy Ryder. He is the mayor of Lacey. And also, he's a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in studio a couple of weeks ago. And the thing that stood out about Swedish Cyberknife treatment, number 1, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full-time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he's able to remain comfortable during treatment. He could wear his street clothes in, didn't experience any side effects, other than mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods where you have surgery or you have to have a catheter. I mean, it's night and day. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. So we talk about building sports teams and trying to find stars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state. Also, you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash.
Cal swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had of his late husband's. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is open for you, 866-979-3776. We got a good one from the 509, Dave.
Of course. You can always rely on the 509.
We mentioned jinxes, and I know that Bump and Stacy were talking about that, which got us talking about it.
Doesn't matter if they have indoor plumbing or not.
That's right.
I love you, 509. You're my people.
Preemptive shot before you even hear their shot. But the 509 said, every day I tune in and say, today is the day that Bob and Dave will put on a great show. So far, I've jinxed you guys every single day.
All right, good. You deserve that comment.
Well done, 509. Well done. There we go. All right. Meanwhile, Cal Raleigh has been outstanding this year. He's on pace to have a 9.5 WAR this season. Only 3 catchers have ever had a 9 WAR season. And in the postgame yesterday, Dan Wilson was talking about how he's seen Cal just grow and develop as a hitter.
He has, really matured as a hitter. I mean, he also up there, he's not only hitting the ball hard, but also, looking for his pitch, taking pitches that are out of the strike zone, not trying to do too much. A double early in a ball game, left-handed, and then hit that line drive homer, right-handed. I mean, he's locked in right now, and when he's contributing offensively, and then what he does for us behind the plate. That's a great effort from Cal. Again today, after a night game, a quick turnaround for him, but really nice job for Cal today.
16 home runs, tied for third. Is that what they're saying? Anyway, this looks good for Cal right now. And then the other thing that's kind of unusual is his average is up. Is he at 242? Now?
Yeah,
249.
He's 249 right now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he's just been incredibly valuable. And then
his career high is 232 in 23.
Right. So, yeah, and then, the other thing is, once he gets behind the plate and how good he is with his, full rotation going, I mean, that's such a huge part of it that, it's just hitting for average, hitting in key situations, 16 home runs. OPS is 954. I mean, he's having a great year. And, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how much of it is like that. I talked about this with Cam Chancellor. Remember, Cam Chancellor, I think he was like a 4th rounder maybe. But anyway, he wasn't making a lot of money. And when they paid him, I was like, and I didn't think this way about Cal, by the way, but I did think this way about Cam Chancellor. I was like, that's kind of a lot of money for him just because – a lot of his coverage stuff wasn't great, but he totally changed. Like when they invested in him, and I think that's a psychological, thing that that you're going to be at a certain place and that they really appreciate you, and that's what happened with Cal. It's in the offseason. He got he makes $17 million a year, and he's a super down-to-earth good guy, but everybody seems to love him and on the team, and he's got his importance that way on the team is, almost as valuable as the numbers that he's putting up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader. He's been a vocal leader. He's the guy that spoke out after the disappointment of missing the playoffs and pointing into the dugout across the way, saying, those guys are out there doing what they need to do to add to their roster, talking about the Rangers at the time. So, yeah, he's been a vocal leader off the field, on the field. He's obviously a leader dealing with that pitching staff, dealing with that bullpen. So he's a guy who's got a lot on his plate and has become very just rock solid all the way around. Before you looked at him and said, I don't get so caught up in average. I look at their on base. Sure. He didn't have a great on base either. He didn't have a great he had pop, but it was kind of all or nothing. It was a strikeout or a home run because his on base and average, like his first full year, 211, 284. The next year, 232, 306. Last year, 220, 312. Right now, 249, 370. So his on base is way up, which you love to see. He's as Dan said there, he's waiting on his pitch. He's showing some discipline up there. So he's still striking out a fair amount. He's got 53 strikeouts already. So you'd love to see that number come down. But look, I'm nitpicking now because he does everything so well, and he's improving everywhere. His slug is way up at this point, 584. His career high is 489. So he's almost 100 points higher than his career high currently. So we'll see where he ends up. Is he going to be in that race for the MVP? Catchers just, they tend to fade, just the beating they take. They get in the heat of the summer, wears on your body. We'll see how they work him. Like, how many days a week are they going to give him off? How many days a week are they just going to let him DH, take him out from behind the plate?
Yeah.
Or how many full days off does he get? He's so crucial to this offense. If I'm Dan Wilson, I'm going, yeah, I know I got to get him rest, but how do I just sit him and have him do nothing? He's just too crucial to what we're doing. Now, if Julio continues with this path and he gets red hot, and maybe Rosarena gets red, if other guys are really starting to find it, all right, maybe you feel more comfortable about, all right, he's not doing a thing today.
Yeah.
We're not going to him unless it's a dire emergency.
I think Jorge Polanco needs to be that guy right now, though, as far as being the designated hitter if you're going to, put him out there. But, Cal's going to get beat up. There's no question. Remember in the offseason, we went to a thing the Mariners had, some kind of a media thing, and he sat down with us, and he was talking about he had surgery. And I think a few of us didn't even know that he'd had surgery. And
that was his thumb thing, the ligament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, he was talking about it, and it was like we kind of found out he had injured that like a month before or something, before the end of the season. And so he played through that. Then there's a couple times I've stopped at his locker, and, he's got like you can see, he said the ones that are most annoying are the ones that hit you on the inner thigh, and that happens quite a bit, like a foul tip or whatever. And you could see the stitches of the baseball on his leg. So he's a tough guy in that way, but you do worry about him kind of breaking down, but he seems to take good care of his body. And by the way, the whole thing about the money, investing in Cam and investing in Cal, it's more about, I think it's not like, hey, I'm finally getting paid, so now I'm going to play harder. No, it's more that where you're going to be. So it's just one less thing to think about. And I think for Cal, that did him a lot of good, just knowing that, hey, this team, he likes the area. He likes, what the people. I mean, he even said he liked Brock and Salk.
I think he was kidding.
During spring training.
Yeah, that was a joke.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not just about the money. It's about being, knowing where you're going to be for pretty much the rest of your career.
Well, and there's a different level of security when you sign a deal like that in baseball as compared to football, because you're getting every dollar, no matter what. Right. He's getting every dollar of that contract. Whereas Cam, he signs that deal, that's not guaranteed. A certain amount is. Some of it's injury guarantee. Some of it's this guarantee. So he signs for $85 million, whatever the deal was. I don't even remember. But he's not getting every penny of that, or he's not guaranteed to get it. Yeah. So different level of security.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think it's more about where you're going to be.
Right.
Or, regardless of, guaranteed or whatever, but just knowing that. And I think Cal's one of those guys that kind of needs that, and they showed it to him. And I love that move. And it's not like, he was going to have some terrible year if he didn't get a contract, but he has that peace of mind.
By the way, it'd be tough for him, though. The way things are going now, Aaron Judge is your runaway winner. I mean, he's hitting 396 right now. He's got a 486 on base. He's slugging 743. He's got a 1230 OPS. Oh my gosh. He's 16 home runs, driven in 44. I mean, it's his to lose right now. We're still early in terms of accumulating stats, but just by way of comparison, he's got 16 home runs. Cal's got 16 home runs. He's got 44 runs driven in. Cal's got 33. And, I mean, just his average is on base. I mean, Aaron Judge is just ridiculous right now. All right, coming up, one person at this station disagrees with Wyman on the future of NFL players in the Olympics. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. Seattle Sports on 710.
Kirby looks in, has a sign from Raleigh.
He's back.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike three. Strikeout number 7 for George Kirby.
Just in time as the first place Mariners start a 3-game set in Houston against an Astros team right on their heels.
Swing and a miss. He is dealing time.
Hear George Kirby's season debut tonight. First pitch at 5:10 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. 206 says, Dave, I've got a VCR you can use for your videotapes. How about that?
There we go. Now we got Randy Arozarena blocking me. It's much better to look at. Yeah, I still have a VHS. Don't worry about that.
But you got a more condensed one as compared to the one that you bought when you first
Yeah, it was a little small.
entered the NFL, and you had the suitcase size one.
No, I had one actually my senior in college, which this is illegal, but my agent wrote me a check for a couple grand after I got drafted.
Yeah.
And it was like,
that's just in advance.
It was unbelievable. I was like, come on, guys, I'm buying. Let's go. I went and bought myself a VCR. I think the VCR was $200. But
that's cheap for back then, because weren't they really expensive when they first came out?
I don't know.
I just
Maybe it was
remember
more than that.
My grandfather had one that looked like it was a small coffee table.
Yeah.
It was huge. Thing was monstrous. Meanwhile, apparently somebody disagrees with your take on what's going on with the Olympics and the NFL players.
This will be a first.
Yeah. Usually everybody's in lockstep with Dave Wyman's opinions. Right. But first of all, before we get to that, seems like a lot of players are into this. Justin Jefferson was talking about, just how much it means to him if the idea of playing and this is mislabeled here. What cut number is Justin Jefferson, Lefko? Number 3 on my sheet is Harold Reynolds.
Hold on.
Yeah, so I'm surprised. Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear how the players respond. And, is there going to be insurance policies? You mentioned that, Bob, taken out. Or what about the teams? How are they going to feel about that? And how long's the guy going to be gone? Are they good? Are they the best flag football players? I mean, it's a different game.
I don't want any of my guys getting hurt playing flag football. No. I know they're doing it for the country, but this is one time I'm going to take my team over the country.
Well, here's the thing, too.
I'm being selfish here, Dave.
I agree with you. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, it's not football, okay?
Yeah.
It's flag football. So, and I think, look, I played flag football. I had my daughter play flag football. As a matter of fact, it was like it was boys and girls mixed.
Co-ed.
Yeah, co-ed. And so I remember one time she got jammed by some punk kid, and so she was crying. And so then I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit Kindle deep, and she smoked this guy. And I was never prouder as a coach or a father or anything like that.
I thought you were gonna instruct her on how to hit him back. You're gonna take this elbow, you're gonna put it right in his mouth. You're gonna do that. And I've never been prouder.
Should have done that. But yeah, I mean, and so I loved flag football. I wore number 24 as a running back in flag football, Bob, and just like Marshawn Lynch. I was a good halfback, but I got into tackle football, and my freshman year, the first thing that happened, I went out and hit this bag, and it just rejected me on my butt, and everybody's looking at me like, who the heck's this guy? So
this guy's a flag football player.
It's just not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. So, I mean, look, I think it's cool. I've heard Bump talk about, wanting to be involved in all of that, and I understand that he might be somebody that has.
Yeah, we'll play his reaction here in a moment, but just to show you the passion of some of the players, Justin Jefferson talking about how much he wants to play flag football in the Olympics.
Just the
think about the chances of, playing in the Olympics and, getting a gold medal is a dream, just reverting back to being a kid and watching the track and field, meets, watching basketball win the gold medal. So, that's something that as a kid I always wanted to be a part of, but football wasn't globally. So now that we're expanding the game and, we're going more globally, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get that it would be awesome to have a gold medal, of course. Would it feel weird, though? Like, hey, what'd you win that medal for? Flag football.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, look, maybe
it's not a traditional competition. It doesn't need to be, but I guess it'd be, and you can't have just tackle football as an Olympic sport. I get it, but I don't know. There's something about it that feels weird, and I don't want my. I was talking to Bump about it. We'll play his remarks here in a moment, but I was debating him in the kitchen about this whole thing. But apparently he there's a promo. I hadn't heard the promo running with your comments, and he was responding to what he heard there.
I hope, Wyman, I love you. I hope you hear this, and I hope he responds during his show so I can hear his response.
No, I hope he responds and texts you right now.
Nah, yeah, he can text me. I want to hear it live on the radio.
Okay.
There's a clip going around. Wyman says, "Why would you?" This isn't verbatim. He says, "Why would you send NFL players to the Olympics? That's for guys who didn't make it." And in my mind, I go, I can feel that because you want to allow your players to rest and stay healthy. And you want to let the guys who are in the UFL or maybe some college players go out there and do their thing. I get it. But I'm also like, Dave, if we do not win the gold medal for flag football, we will be laughed at. This is our sport. Dave, respond, man. I want to hear you, baby.
I think it was so brave of you to agree with something Dave said. I would never get on air and agree with Dave. That's such a bad idea.
But then I disagreed at the same time. Like I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, but the fact that you agreed with anything he said, come on, man, we're better than that.
Look at Matt.
The only thing wrong with that whole thing is not Bump, coming at me or anything. It's that we have to hear from Matt. Why? Why do we have to hear from
Even
Matt?
when you're not supposed to be around him, you're kind of around him.
He's constantly, yeah.
He's just omnipresent.
Right. No, but yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I would say this. I think we can send football players to the Olympics that are better than anyone from any country that aren't NFL players.
Right.
So, I mean,
sort of how basketball used to be, right? It was always college kids that would make up the Olympic team for the U.S.
Exactly. So I think that, and I know Bump is like heavily into. I remember hearing him say one time that he wants to be part of, bringing flag football to the Olympics and everything. I was surprised to hear that from Justin Jefferson, honestly, because I thought a lot of the guys in this era, it wasn't such a big deal. I remember, what was the game? Was it 1972 when the Russians beat the U.S. and there was like all these in basketball, and it was like there was like an extra timeout and like it was like a total cheat. And I remember my brother.
I feel like that's happened a few times.
Yeah, but this was a famous one that like they got like 3 extra timeouts or something. And I remember my brother, who was like 8 at that point, crying because the U.S. lost, and it was just like a big deal. So, I mean, to hear Justin Jefferson, I don't know, what is he, 26, 27, talk about the Olympics? I mean, I think that's kind of interesting. I just assumed that a lot of guys didn't even pay attention to that. But
well, there might be a lot that don't. He may be the outlier.
I don't want Spoon and JSN going and playing in the Olympic flag football.
That's exactly what I brought up to him when he was debating me in the kitchen. To me, it's not even so much his love of flag football, talking about Bump. It's more about the pride of winning because it's the U.S.'s game. It's America's game, so you can't afford to get beat by anybody else. So his philosophy, because I said, what if JSN is on the team?
Yeah.
And he goes out there and he makes a cut and blows out his knee. And he just shrugs his shoulders like, did it for the country. I'm like, no. I'm sorry. I'm not signing up for that. He said, get one under your belt, get the win the first time out, and then you can send the back of the roster guys or college football or whatever. And I'm just like,
Well, it's a different game. So I wonder, and I brought this up a number of times. A few years ago, there were these flag football guys. They were the best team, and they played some of the NFL stars, and they were like, oh, my God, these guys hold like crazy. It's ridiculous. So I think it's a different game. So I would say this. I think they can get it done without having NFL players in the Olympics.
I agree with that. I do. All right, coming up, why have the Mariners been so good on the road this season? Cal Raleigh shares some insight on that in the latest edition of the Cal Raleigh Show. It's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
Kirby looks in, has a sign from Raleigh.
He's back.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for George Kirby.
Just in time as the first-place Mariners start a 3-game set in Houston against an Astros team right on their heels.
Swing and a miss. He is dealing time.
Hear George Kirby's season debut tonight. First pitch at 5:10 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car theft dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening.
It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to it tonight. Game 1 of a 4-game series against the Houston Astros on the road in Houston. The Mariners send George Kirby to the hill, making his season debut. He faces off against Lance McCullers Jr., who's had some interesting things to say about the Mariner fan base. You can catch all of the action of that one beginning at 4 p.m. with the pregame show, 5:10 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Game's going on right now. The Angels out in front of the A's 7-5. They're headed to the top of the 8th in that one. Finals from earlier today. Yankees shut out the Rangers 1-0. The score there. It took 11 innings. The Blue Jays got it done against the Padres 7-6. And the Phillies hand the Rockies the 42nd loss of the season for the Rockies. They are 8-42 after falling 2-0 today. The Red Sox and Orioles postponed. They'll make that game up tomorrow.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
You tune in for it each and every week. A chance to hear from one of the guys that should be in consideration for MVP, at least through this point of the season. He's an absolute credit to this team, the game of baseball. You know him, you love him, Cal Raleigh. It is time for the latest edition of the Cal Raleigh Show.
Right to the pitch. Cal swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
All right, Cal, we're in Chicago, and there's always weather in Chicago. Take a look out there. What do you think?
Wet, cold, cloudy, dark. Yeah, not great baseball weather.
Probably going to play anyway, though.
Yeah.
Do you pack extra, or is that up to the equipment people, or what happens when you come in and all of a sudden it's colder, it's wetter, it's not what it's supposed to be?
I actually was very, very unprepared this trip, so usually I'm pretty good, especially when we're going to places, with colder weather, but for whatever reason I wasn't thinking. I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It's a decent time of year. And I completely forgot, sleeves, jackets, sweats. I just didn't think, I got a little too cocky, I guess, and thought I knew it would be good weather. So that we talked about overpacking before.
We did.
I tried not to overpack, and then the one trip I needed it didn't work out. So.
All right, so we were up in the booth, and Rick Riz looked out, and he's like, "Look at Cal, he's being tough out there. No sleeves. That wasn't it."
It was a little chilly. It wasn't terrible though. I mean, it wasn't the worst, But the wind, obviously, being in Chicago, the wind is what cuts through you a little more so than the actual weather.
Yeah, no, that is a thing here without question. Hey, taking a look at last night's game, really, really enjoying what we are seeing right now from Luis Castillo, and we're definitely seeing. I don't know if it was more fastball last night. Why'd you have to call the slider?
I don't know. I shouldn't have.
No, you shouldn't have. Luis told the story afterwards that you guys talked about, let's go for 50 this time, because his only other start here, he threw 47 straight fastballs, and why not? And so you blinked. You blinked.
I regret it. I didn't even realize we were doing it. Was at the time until somebody said something. So.
All right. Well, we're going to allow that. But he seems to almost be evolving a little bit. It seems like we're seeing more of the fastball from him attacking different. The fastball looks different. It seems like there's almost a little bit more movement with it right now. What are you seeing with him?
I think over the last 2 starts, just really seeing him, getting down the mound and trusting his stuff. Sometimes, you see pitchers and, they'll try to hit spots or try to be perfect and try to, finesse type, try to be perfect with their pitches. When in reality, a lot of the guys, you got to know who you are and your profile. And, as Louis, I see him more as like a power kind of pitcher and, just relaying to him, hey, don't try to be too fine. Don't try to be too cute. Get down the mound, trust what's coming out of your hand and trust that it's going to go where you want it to go. Don't try to aim it or don't try to, try to pinpoint command it. Just trust it. Whatever happens, and really, the last 2 starts looked really good.
What does his best fastball look like? Like, if you were facing him, what would that look like as a hitter?
Obviously he's got that, kind of 3/4 slot of where he releases the ball. So it's just tough, He's got the 2 fastballs. One runs and sinks, and the other just kind of stays straight up. And, it looks good, especially as a left-handed hitter. That's the one that looks really good and it lights your eyes up, and the next thing you know, it's more at your letters and at your eye level rather than right down the middle where you were looking for it, kind of at the belt. So it just has that kind of deception to it, and lights people's eyes up, and then they get a little too greedy and you either swing and miss or pop it up.
It was fun to see him work that way, and he said aggressive last night, which is exactly what it looked like. And you say that with him. And he also, I don't want to say he's loose out on the hill, but he's a guy that can smile. I mean, how different is his demeanor out there from what you see from other starters? Yeah,
he's a guy that's been around the league for a long time and somebody who's been there, done that at all-star games, been that guy for quite a while. So, he knows what he's doing out there, and he does a good job of not taking the game too serious. Not in the way of, he's not out there, he's not serious about his craft. But he knows it's a game and he has fun with it and he enjoys it. And a lot of it's about just knowing you and yourself and how you're going to get the best out of, your stuff that night. And, he's the type of guy that goes out and kind of lets it hang, and he's loose, and that's when he's pitching at his best. So, each guy is going to be a little different in that sense.
Is that kind of his personality off the field, too?
Yeah. He's really easygoing. He's really easy to talk to, always in a good mood, happy. Somebody you definitely want around your clubhouse, and a guy is always good to have around and can definitely, help simplify and make this game a lot more fun.
4-0 on this road trip right now. What did you see in that series in San Diego? You told us a week ago you weren't worried. You had a little bit of a rough patch at home, but you guys are beyond thinking too much about a small rough patch. What did you see in San Diego after?
Yeah, we responded well. I thought I didn't think we played bad against Toronto and New York. Some good teams, and it's going to happen throughout a course of a season. And we were right there in it in a few of those games, and a couple pitches here and there. Ball goes different way. Maybe win an extra one. We're not talking about a bad series, or a bad homestand. So, obviously we pitched the ball really well. We threw well in tough situations. We were in scoring position. We were able to, capitalize with runners on base, and we were able to, punch back really quickly. Obviously, I think in 2 of the games we went down first, and then maybe 1, I can't remember, but we were able to punch back really quickly and That's what good teams do. They respond and they keep the pressure on the opposing pitchers, and they threw some good ones as well.
I think good team is going to be the answer to most everything right now, and I don't ask any of these questions with surprise. It's like it's where you're at. You guys have the best road record in baseball right now. Is that because you're a good team, or is there something that you see that you guys embrace on the road?
No, I just think it's, I think on the road it's even more important to do the little things right because, obviously you're at a disadvantage and, you're away from home. You don't get the last at bat, things like that. So it's even more important to put pressure on them and to do the little things right, take the extra base, steal extra bags, punch back when you're down a run or so. So it's just important to keep doing those things and to stay on top of it, really. I think obviously with our offensive approach, I think it plays well, especially in these type of environments when guys are going to get pitched tough and, you're on the road, obviously. So the good approach is paying off right now.
What about your offensive approach with elite pitchers? You guys have also racked up a really nice record against number ones in the league. What do you see there?
Yeah, I mean, with those guys, I think the big thing is you got to take advantage of mistakes when you get them. Obviously, it's not going to happen every time, but when you do get that mistake, you got to have a good approach and be ready for the most part, the fastball for a lot of the times, because those are usually what elite pitchers have is really good fastballs, and as good as they are human and they do make mistakes, and all it is just capitalizing on them, when they do make those mistakes. So, and not getting too big and trying to do too much with those pitches and just kind of passing the baton and doing those little things.
Is there something in the predictability of a good pitcher, the established, what they're going to throw? It might be some of the nastiest stuff you see, but it is something that you're a little bit more familiar. You can perhaps, study a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you do your homework, and obviously the more guys have been around the league, the more you know how they're going to attack you, and but that doesn't mean anything's a guarantee because, it's baseball, and as soon as you think you got it figured out or you got some guy, keyhold, then the game will come back and smack you right in the face, right when you least expect it. So you just got to stay humble and just have a good approach and just really trying to keyhole and trying to figure out how you want to, attack this guy.
Lastly, I don't know if we're looking at a rain delay tonight, maybe a rain delay. I think we'll get it in. What do you guys do on the road? And I'm sure it depends where you're at, but if you guys have an extra hour back there, what happens? What does the clubhouse look like?
I mean, yeah, rain delays are tough just because you're kind of waiting around, but to me, this game's starting at 6:40 and you got to get ready for it, and, if they tell us, there's a delay, then at least I was ready to go, or we were ready to go in that sense, and we weren't, caught off by surprise. So, but yeah, I mean, typical, rain delay stuff. You see lots of cards in the clubhouse. See a lot of guys just kind of hanging out, listen to music. Like I said, cards is usually the big one. So, we got a good group of guys here that like to play a lot of cards. So it makes it fun, and I'm sure guys will be cutting up and talking some trash to each other too, so it's always a good time.
Who's the card shark in there?
I don't know. There's a few. There's been a lot more this year than years past. So Rowdy is definitely one of the more interesting guys on the team, especially when it comes to cards. He's always looking for a game. So, and then there's tons of guys that like to get in there. We do it on flights and when we have time. So.
Okay, to preview next week, you've said you want to interview somebody. How about Rowdy?
Rowdy?
Yeah. But tentatively Rowdy on the schedule next week when we get back to see?
Tentatively Rowdy. We'll do that. So it might be an interesting one.
Get to know Rowdy.
Yeah.
Cal, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. There's the Cal Raleigh Show. You catch it every single Thursday here with Wyman and Bob. The Cal Raleigh Show is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. So good stuff from Cal, and have you fired off any questions to Shannon saying, can you tell him Dave said this?
I'm texting her right now. What are they playing?
What are they playing? What card
they're playing
game?
Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Boo-Ray? Is it poker? Is it spades. Those are the games that we used to play.
Boo-ray. I've never
I
heard
couldn't
of that.
tell you how Boo-ray goes.
You were met with the blankest of looks back here as well.
I've never heard that.
Well,
or of
that's
that,
because
actually.
all of you are under the age of 40.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Boo-ray was some kind of, I mean, I can't remember it, but I just remember that when I went to Denver that year, the whole year I played on the plane, and I was up like $2,000, which is unlike me. Typically I lose.
Yeah.
And then we used to play cribbage. We had a whole cribbage tournament one time with Dave Craig.
Is that a card game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's a board game with cards,
Okay.
obviously. And I remember Dave Craig had somebody made him this huge board, that was customized and it had his number on it and everything. And yeah, he thought he was hot bleep, as far as cribbage goes.
Of course he did.
But I'm
he probably
curious.
talk smack to you, right?
Yeah. I just wonder what they're playing. I'm going to text Shannon right now.
All right. And fire off some other questions and say they're from you.
Yeah.
I want to see if she'll say, all right, Cal, this is the portion of the show where Dave Wyman wants me to ask you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Remember that time you hit that home run to
Cal,
clinch the playoffs?
You remember what you
pretty
said
cool.
afterwards?
It's pretty cool. Do you worry about him, though, with his workload? Because I tend to, just because historically catchers wear down. That's what, when you look at offensive stats of catchers, yeah, there are outliers. There's Johnny Bench and Mike Piazza and Jorge Posada and Pudge, and certain guys will stand out because it's just usually your catcher isn't going to be your most, productive guy, and they tend to wear down. I mean, that position above all out there beats the daylights out of you, whether it's balls, foul balls off the inner thigh, off the hands. We know Cal had the torn tendon in his hand.
Yeah.
He had to have surgery on. So, I mean, you just the nature of that position. You take a beating, thus it does tend to impact your impact on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had a similar thing, and actually, when we went to that luncheon a couple years ago, we were talking about. I think he had the same thing that I had in my thumb. Where no, he didn't. He had something different, but mine was a torn ligament. So that if you don't have surgery within like 10 days, your body will just start metabolizing the tendon. So I had to have it done, but I played a game where I had to, basically. Like my hand was like a flipper, basically. I had
to tape the thumb down.
Tape the thumb down and everything. And I think, he does a good job with that. I think he's young still. He's 28. I mean, let's worry about this when he's 30. But, I think he has the ability to, like when he gets hurt and everything, it bothers you and everything. But like once the game starts, you just don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of where he is. He is an incredibly tough guy, but yeah, as far as slowing down, yeah, I guess I'd start to worry about that when that's like the death number in sports, right? 30, you're an old man all of a sudden.
Especially in the NFL, if you're a running back, then you're really old, and catcher's probably the most. If you're going to try to equate a baseball position to a football position, the most physically, damaging position in football is probably a running back, would you say?
Absolutely.
And,
on a team that runs the ball, especially.
Yeah, in baseball, it's the catcher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that it's hard to avoid that. And Harold Reynolds, again, was on talking about Cal and was asked if Cal could become too valuable on offense to play catcher every day.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Just the bat allows you to do a lot of things with it. If he wasn't hitting, then that's a whole different dynamic. But all of them have done that, and I think that's the advantage of the DH. I would say, it being in the American League, now it's in both leagues, but the designated hitter can be used that way. A lot of teams use it where they give guys a day off and it's still keeping that bat in the order. But Cal's athletic enough; he could play first base if need be. But I think that's down the road a little ways. I don't even think we're in that conversation yet.
Yeah, you're not there yet, but you wonder as the years go on, a couple years down the road, who knows? We also question. All right, well, if Harry Ford is one of your top prospects, he's a catcher. How does Cal just re-signed, so he's not going anywhere. Now, would they ever? I wonder if they'd consider hey, we need Cal on this team and need him in the lineup, but he's getting beat up. Maybe we're going to have him over there at first base, see how it goes. It'd be weird to see him out there. I'm sure he could do it.
And start working in Harry Ford.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea what their future, how far down the road they plan for things like that. But as you learned from the movie Moneyball, first base incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he could play it.
Well, yeah.
But the thing is, he's made it very clear when we've talked to him about the ABS system and talked to him about, kind of doing away with framing pitches. Like you're going to have a system that tells you ball or strike. Doesn't matter how much magic you work with your mitt, with a catcher's mitt. It's going to be on point. Do you like that? And he's like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's an art form.
Yeah, I think he takes pride in his ability to frame pitches, and
he does a great job with it.
So he's a guy who just loves that aspect of catching. He loves to be a catcher. So I wonder how tough of a transition that could be. We've seen it with people like Joe Mauer, a guy who eventually, you got to get him out from behind the plate. He's taking a beating. He's not as effective. They put him at first base.
Well, I would say this, there's lots of guys that I played with that played the same position as me, played just as physical, that just didn't get hurt. Yeah. And, and look, it's not that he hasn't been hurt. He just hasn't been injured. I mean, he had the thumb surgery, and I don't know, maybe he's had some cleanup, type of surgeries in the off season or whatever. But for the most part, it seems like it's just been the little ticky-tacky things that are. And look, don't get me wrong. There are lots of. I think Cal suffers through lots of things that other people would not. As far as going, and even other players that would not go through. But
I think most catchers do. I think catchers, just by virtue of playing that position, you're going to deal with a lot more than your second baseman. Right. It's just.
So I think he has a very high pain tolerance, and I think he's just gotten good at it. He's just one of those guys, and again, I don't want to say he doesn't get hurt, but like Carlos Dansby played linebacker in the NFL. I think it was like 15 years, and I think he missed like 6 games. And I'm like, if you're a quarterback and Larry Fitzgerald,
a kicker,
it was another guy. He played receiver, getting crunched all the time, and I think he missed like 10 games or 8 games or something. So some guys just have an ability to stay healthy, and it seems like Cal has that ability, but he also has a tremendous amount of toughness. But I mean, what if it does happen? I like your plan. I think it might be too far off in the future when Cal, is Harry Ford still going to hang around here?
Yeah,
I don't know how long they can hold on to him if he continues at the pace he's at. But, if he had to play first base or just be your DH or whatever every once in a while, you said it's incredibly hard to play first base, and that's supposedly the case. But with Cal, I mean, I feel like he might pick that up pretty quickly, quicker than most people.
He might. He might. I don't know. I don't know if that's anything that's ever entered his head. Like, when I get older and the knees start aching and the back starts aching, which invariably will happen. I mean, how many squats are you doing a game? You're squatting down, standing up, squatting back down, standing up. I mean, it's a lot of wear and tear on the joints, on the ankles, on the toes.
I look at his knees, and I'm just like, oh my God, it hurts for me to watch it.
Yeah. So at some point, it catches up. And what's the plan moving forward?
206 says, "Great, Dave. Now you jinxed Cal." Nice job, 206.
You got a lot of juice, man. You got a lot of negative juice. Apparently,
that's funny. He's just keeping up with the theme today.
Yeah. But all of your predictions are going to be negative, or all of your jinxes are going to hurt the Mariners.
By the way, somebody said, "I've never heard of Boo-Ray, Dave, and I'm 55." I'm like, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Is that a Denver? Is that a Midwest thing? Is it
I don't know. I know that
I've not heard of that.
I didn't hear about it until I got in the NFL.
I did a little online research. It's like a euchre Trump type game. So you try and win hands, but there's no teams or anything.
Yeah, somebody said euchre, and I was like, that doesn't.
I don't know what that is either.
That's a Midwest thing. I know what that is.
Euchre?
Yeah.
That's a card game?
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Never heard of it.
So now I kind of have a sense of Boo-Ray.
There you go.
All right, coming up, Seahawks start OTAs next week. How about that? So what do we think this group of receivers is going to look like on the field? We're going to get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk
with our friend Jeff Passan.
I think that what we're seeing now is a version of how good the Mariners can be. The really exciting part is that George Kirby's coming back, and that Logan Gilbert's coming back, and that Bryce Miller's going to come back, and that all of a sudden this team that looks like arguably the second best team in the American League is going to be adding 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here from my friends at Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. And I'm really excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my kind of people. And they'll be your kind of people, too. I had Ray, Chris, and Nick out to my house just to see what they could do for us because we've been in the same house for 24 years, and virtually every window in our home has a broken seal. So Harley Exteriors has an exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window that's manufactured right here in Washington. And these windows are designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. And it's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And right now, through the month of May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners and proud to be working with Ray, Chris, and Nick at Harley Exteriors. It's a team you can get behind. So get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more. They're right here in the Puget Sound. Give them a call at 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY. Or you can go to harleyexteriors.com.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Jet City Harley's dedicated team of finance experts are ready to get you approved. Credit so bad your mama won't lend you money?
I love you, dear, but hell's to the no.
Let the Credit Rebuilders of Washington get you approved at Jet City Harley. 100% of all credit applications considered. See jetcityharley.com.
On approved credit.
This Memorial Day, turn up the heat with the Home Depot. Find the perfect grill and patio set to keep the cookouts coming all season long. Grill up a feast with the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill, only $229. And complete your space with the stylish Glen Ridge Falls 7-piece dining set, now on special buy for just $499 with free delivery. Take your Memorial Day cookout to the next level all summer long with the Home Depot. See homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk hauling, donations, and recycling. We'll give you an exact price before we start the job and get it done with a smile. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We were just back there talking about how much everybody annoys Matt. Everybody who's Lefko,
Everyone
Brady,
in the building.
Ian, all sharing stories of how they irritate him.
It's fun, isn't it?
He makes it so easy.
Yeah. Lefko says, well, you act like he doesn't annoy me. I'm like, yeah, but I think your presence annoys him. I think he annoys Lefko when he's picking on Lefko. I think if he's not picking on Lefko, I don't think he annoys you.
It's like, was it Step Brothers? Like, I don't hate you, I hate your face.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess I just walk in, and then Matt gets
he's just
the
annoyed
simmering
by it.
frustration.
Just
the presence, he feels it.
You have to change your face, Mike.
He'd say, I didn't hear a word you just said because your face is driving me crazy. Yeah. So that's
Matt, he doesn't really care for sports that much.
no. He likes when Brady talks about throwing balls for fun or something like that. He's like, Brady was in there imitating Matt, going, "Oh, I'm Brady. I throw balls for fun."
Does that mean because he's not getting paid for it?
I guess. I don't know. So, anyway, by the way, the latest text coming in, 206. Talk about roundabouts, Dave.
Why? I'm not complaining that much today, am I? Maybe a little bit about the flag football thing.
Roundabouts.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Seahawks wide receivers, and we talked about this, and we'll see who some of these guys they picked up in the later rounds and free agents that they signed, if any of those guys pan out to be anything, because we talked about the idea, JSN, we know him, we love him, he's a great receiver. Not a burner by NFL standards. Then you got Cooper Kupp. We like Cooper Kupp. He's been an incredible receiver throughout his career. You're not getting him at his peak at this point. He's never been considered a burner either. And same is true for MVS. This is not a real fast group, if you will, when you're looking at your starters there. So what do you expect out of that group this season? And we don't know who some of these other guys may be. And by the way, I was telling Bump about the Olympics. I'm like, JSN, I don't want him going out there getting hurt. Give him Bobo. They can have Bobo.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that.
To my point, I think you can win with guys like that.
Yes, exactly.
No starters, please. But Bobo, I don't know. He runs a 4.940, so maybe he's not built for that game.
But do you worry about they don't have that traditional deep threat, or do you see them? Hey, Kubiak's going to come in here and make use of this, and it's not going to matter, or do you feel like, hey, hopefully some of these other guys they drafted later in the draft and some of the free agents are going to turn in, one of them will turn into that deep threat?
Yeah, well, let's take like DK, for example, and I'm not trying to stomp on his grave or anything because he's not here, but, he was a burner, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. I think in this offense, it's going to be more about precision of route running, and JSN's the king of that, and I think Cooper Kupp is too. So I think it'll be interesting to see. Maybe every once in a while they're able to get a guy shook loose and throw a bomb, a deep one to like they did to DK last year. But yeah, I don't think that's what this offense is all about. And I think they're going to be just fine with the route runners they have. Cooper Kupp, there's a reason why he was a Super Bowl MVP. And the reason why he's been an all-pro and everything is and JSN has that same quality. It's kind of hard to nail down. Like, you don't see him, like, run past. I mean, we saw DK make spectacular plays, so you kind of get it. Same thing with Tyler. You know, he was always, like, wide open or whatever. But, you know, I would say both of these guys, well, at least JSN and Cooper Kupp, are more of the type that are able to just find the exact middle of a zone.
Right.
And much like Tyler Lockett. And so it wasn't like he was a burner or anything like that, making fancy catches or anything. It was just that he just knew how to play the game.
Brian Walters, who knows a thing or two about being a receiver, he was on with Brock and Salk, and he was talking about why he believes JSN and Cooper Kupp can play anywhere on the field.
That's again another like topic as a receiver that I don't like putting receivers in certain bubbles. Like, this is only a slot receiver. This is only outside receiver. Yes, it's true. You know, I think people are some are better in the slot, some are better on the outside. But essentially, as a receiver, you're lining up and you're going one-on-one against that corner. Like, it's not a huge difference to me. I didn't really care if I was on the outside against, you know, a corner out there versus in the inside. You know, I'm running a crossing route where you can run a crossing route from the outside. And sometimes, yes, they are going to be fine out there. They are now veteran receivers. Now it'll just add to their tool set. And the way Kubiak will use them, they'll be motioning from the outside a lot. You know, they'll be coming in. They'll be blocking a lot probably. But, yeah, I don't see that being a huge issue.
Yeah, I liked what he said there just because it stood out to me. I was telling Mike that, you know, whether I played in a 3-4 or a 4-3 or where I lined up, and that's kind of what came through to me that Brian Walters was talking about. And look, I mean, we talked about the explosive outside guy who can run past the defender, take the top off a defense. Defenses aren't allowing that anymore. You know, it just everybody's playing like a shell where it's kind of an off, almost a cover 4, where they're very conscientious about not letting anybody get behind them. So really what it's about is you working those underneath routes, trying to find in a zone or trying to get a guy, you know, who runs a really good route like Cooper Kupp to, you know, shake a man-to-man coverage underneath. So, I mean, I think it's kind of changed that way. But, you know, I would say also, though, JSN has been seen as a guy who can play the Z or the X. It doesn't really matter. But I just thought what he said there was very interesting because, you know, hearing that from a receiver, does it really matter whether you're inside or outside? I mean, maybe a little bit. I think there are some things that matter. I think when you switch offensive linemen from one side to the other, I think it takes them a while.
Right.
I just do. But, like, there are certain things on the field, and I'd never heard that from a receiver, and Brian Walters would know that, you know, it didn't really matter. You're ultimately going to be one-on-one against a corner or, you know, running some kind of zone that's, you know, attainable from either side.
How much of last year's success for Sam Darnold do you attribute to the weapons he had? Because you had two top-flight receivers. I mean, the Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison accounted for 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns for Jefferson, 9 for Addison, 154 targets to Jefferson, 1,500 yards. Addison had 99 targets, so 55 fewer, 875 yards, but 9 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you have to benefit from a guy like Justin Jefferson. And look, here's the difference. A guy like Justin Jefferson, and people are talking about him also playing in the Olympics, flag football. But you saw and I brought this up a number of times, the play where Darnold steps up in the pocket and throws the game-winning touchdown to Justin Jefferson. And what happened there was Julian Love just entirely underestimated his speed. He just did not get over the top fast enough. And you could see as he was running that way, it was like he felt like he had the angle, and it turned out he didn't. So, I mean, that guy, yeah, he's a very different type of player. But also, you know, I would say Sam Darnold came here because of Kubiak, you know, and that offense that he had experienced with the Niners a few years ago. And so, you know, I think that he likes that scheme and thinks that, you know, that you can get guys open not just because of their blazing speed, but because of the scheme you're on.
Well, and yeah, I mean, that's something Schlereth has talked about, a lot of it in relation to the O-line, but just about coaches working with the talent they've got and accentuating what they do well. What does this guy do well? Let's capitalize on that. And talking about putting guys in positions where they don't do that well, but you keep putting them in that position. And I like how Mark always says, don't get mad at me. You're the dumbass that put me in this spot knowing I don't do this. Right? I can't do that. I'm not athletic enough to do this.
Right.
So, yeah, the coaches are huge. in this scenario. So we'll see what they get done with him. I mean, I'm excited to see him, but it is a different look, certainly. Doesn't mean they won't be impactful or effective, though. But with a new quarterback who had the luxury of 2 really good receivers and a burner, certainly it's a different set of circumstances here. Coming up, the Mariners rotation could look drastically different after today. We'll tell you what that's about coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk
with our friend Jeff Passan.
I think that what we're seeing now is a version of how good the Mariners can be. The really exciting part is that George Kirby's coming back, and that Logan Gilbert's coming back, and that Bryce Miller's going to come back, and that all of a sudden, this team that looks like arguably the second best team in the American League is going to be adding 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. You know, we had a guy named Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey and a Swedish Cyberknife patient. From we also had Dr. Landis in the studio from Swedish Cyberknife, and a couple of things that stood out about Swedish Cyberknife treatment. Number one, what Andy told us, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full-time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he was able to remain comfortable during treatment. You can wear your street clothes in, didn't experience any side effects, and you compare that with other treatment methods where you have to have surgery or have to have a catheter. I mean, it's night and day. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in very high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. So we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has done that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
All month long at a casino not far away, a share of over $98,000 in cash and prizes is rocketing your way. Embark on an epic quest for cash every Saturday in May at Silver Reef with 2 winners destined to be drawn every hour from 7 p.m. till midnight. It's the return of the envelope, and that means galaxy-sized fun. Claim 1 free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got the Mariners and the Astros coming up. Game 1 of a 4-game series. Can't wait to watch this one, Dave. I'm excited.
Oh, really? How come, Bob?
Yeah, because I want to see the Astros go down in a big, fiery mess.
Your fandom for the Mariners is greater than your hatred for the Astros.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Just want to check you.
This is just
make sure it's a mental health check, Bob.
It's a double bonus, though. Because the Mariners win. I mean, obviously, I love the Mariners. I'm there for my team. And then if they continue to climb the ranks and do it on the backs and the faces of the Astros, even better. Even better. A little update. So we got Kirby back tonight. We're all curious about what he's going to look like, what to expect from him. And it looks like Miller is going to be there soon. Now, the update from Houston is Bryce Miller is going to throw a 2-inning simulated game tomorrow. Miller said he believes he can avoid having to do a rehab assignment. So hopefully all goes well with that 2-inning sim game. And
that's what he said?
That's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're not pulling off any jokes or anything.
No, we're not. That's what he said.
But, I mean, he could be back soon, and then I assume Logan Gilbert is not far behind. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this rotation in all of its glory. We have not seen it yet this season because Kirby's been out since the first week of March. But, yeah, it's getting closer.
Can you imagine? I mean, if we get to a point here, which we will. We will. I mean, I'm – who's the one you're most worried about?
What, like physically or what?
Yeah, just like this. To me, for some reason, it's Bryce Miller.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say Bryce out of the gate, but I don't know the fact that they're potentially not even going to have him do if this is true, a rehab assignment. He's just gonna do this stint on the IL, 15 days, and boom, he's back. All right. I mean, at this point, they've done the imaging. They've done all the tests. So they must have a level of confidence structurally he's fine. At which point I would say, all right, then we're just talking about the mental part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they have to be truthful in these things? Like, what if they were like, yeah, he's not in a good headspace right now, and maybe he had some problems. We'll just say that he's going on the IL because of forearm tightness. I don't know what the restrictions are, Major League Baseball, or how much you have to tell. I know, like in the NFL, they never want to say anything.
Well, we know the NHL, it's just upper body, lower body.
Lower, yeah. Remember Mike McDonald last year? He told us about somebody. He goes, I'm telling you this because I have to.
Yeah.
I'm forced to.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not that worried about Kirby. I'm not that worried about Logan. Probably Bryce, just because it was so unique and he was so vocal about it. Speaking with the media, talking about I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Yeah. And then my back locked up, and then I've got something else going on. I'm not going to be specific. I don't know. He was just the way he was talking made me a little leery of what's going on here.
Well, and I think because the Logan Gilbert thing and the George Kirby thing were very straightforward. This was kind of murky, as far as whether it was, because at first he thought it was something. Well, it sounded like he did. He was saying it wasn't mental, but it sounded like it was mental.
It sounded like it was becoming mental.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it became, okay, well, we're going to go on a IL stint here because there's problems with his arm. So, yeah, that's the one I'm most worried about. And also, he's probably the one that's most underrated. I mean, you look at some of the categories. Last year, he was number 8 in ERA in all of Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I mean, I think he kind of gets lost in the weeds a little bit. But there were some people preseason, like Brian Dempster, that were saying, hey, this guy's he's a Cy Young candidate. So, yeah, I just that's the one I worry about. But I mean, I'm pretty confident that all three will be back in, and then you're going to have Wu and Castillo going, and then the big question is going to be, what do you do with Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock?
Yeah, I don't. We played that clip yesterday of Jeff Passan talking about the idea of putting Evans into the bullpen because it's something I guess he's done before, or he's and if that's true, okay, then that's certainly an option. You made this move to bring Kirby back. He's activated. They sent Troy Taylor down. We talked about that yesterday, feeling like that would be the obvious move, just to clear up a roster spot, and he's not been effective. So they send him back down to AAA. I don't know. I don't know how they feel about doing that. Having a guy be a starter, then you're going to be our long relief guy in the bullpen, or maybe you're a one-inning guy. I don't know. I don't know how they feel about that with a young guy.
Yeah.
Lefko asked, would they go to a 6-man rotation, or should they? I don't think they would.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing that, and I don't think they need to do that. I don't know. It's nice to have those options. It's a great position to be in to go, well, we got our 5 that were the best in baseball last year, but we got these other 2 who've been pretty solid. Yeah, there's been a hiccup here or there. One guy's got 5 starts under his belt. Right. So, yeah, it's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah.
Last one, Lefko asking, they're 5-1 so far. 4 games left on this 10-game road trip. What would an acceptable record for this trip be after these 4 games? 7-3.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying, 7-3.
I'm going to go.
Give me 2. Give me a split at least. That's my minimum. Give me a split in Houston.
I'm going to go 9-1, Bob.
That would 8-2 for you would be unacceptable.
Just to piss off the texters.
Yeah, why'd you jinx him, Dave?
Exactly. That's the theme today, so I'm going with it.
Watch, they'll split and go 2-2. If Dave didn't say that, they would have probably won 3 or 4.
I guarantee you. No question, and I'll take it. I'll be fine with that. Bob, we've been doing radio together for a long time.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl in 2012, and then we've been working together since. Can you imagine being married to me for 32 years today?
It's your anniversary today?
Anniversary today.
Happy anniversary.
Poor woman.
And the answer to your question is absolutely not. No, congrats to you. Congrats to Shannon Wyman.
Yes.
And you're here on your anniversary?
The most tolerant woman on the earth.
That's his present to her.
No
I
question.
can only assume.
That's your anniversary present.
He asked you, Lefko.
Staying away from her, giving her space.
Yeah, she was pissed that it was a short show. We got to give way to the Astros.
Well, what do you got? You got dinner? Anything?
We're gonna do something this weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, make sure. I know she doesn't listen to the show, so make sure you pass along my happy anniversary. 32 years.
She doesn't like listening to people talk on the radio.
Not even her husband. That's great. 32 years.
Yeah, it's
wow.
painful. Ouch. You think you have it bad?
I think you've got it great. I'm worried about her.
Yeah,
she's the one we worry about here.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Happy anniversary to the Wymans. Well-deserved happy anniversary there. You got the Mariners. You've got the Houston Astros. You got George Kirby. I don't know how you're not intrigued by this. If you're not, you need to get intrigued because this is a big series. It's not the end-all, be-all, but, boy, it's big. It is big stuff. So we're looking forward to this one. You got the pregame show coming up next. We're going to be with you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob. Hopefully we're sitting here celebrating Lance McCullers getting his tail kicked. We'll see what happens tomorrow right here. Seattle Sports on 710.
Kirby looks in, has a sign from Raleigh.
He's back.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for George Kirby.
Just in time as the first place Mariners start a 3-game set in Houston against an Astros team right on their heels.
Swing and a miss. He is dealing time.
Hear George Kirby's season debut tonight. First pitch at 5:10 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports, on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle.